He was away in Europe preparing for another race, so he enjoyed a little bit of time away. Had very limited running, of course, because of this tyre drama. The car's woefully slow in a straight line, 14 k's off the pace. They fiddle around a lot with weight distribution to try and get the car to balance and behave better. They've got big updates coming for the Magny-Cours event, and someone looks like they had a problem right at the very back.
Looked like a blown engine from a Jordan.
And obviously the relationship between BMW and Williams remains severely frosty at the moment.
And that could be 5 cars on the grid. I mean,
Don't smile when you say that, Billy, because
well, you're
going to have to sing a song for 2 hours.
Helps me keep awake. But it is possible the Michelin-shod cars here will peel off into pit lane. I mean, we just don't know. Nobody knows at this stage, other than the immediate team bosses. And I'm not even sure they even know.
Well, look, I mean, it's pretty simple. The FIA have said they're running the motor race. There's no chicane. Pierre de Pasquier and his group, Michelin, have said if there's no chicane, we can't guarantee the safety of the cars and the drivers, and we're not going to race. So, I mean, it's up to them. What Charlie Whiting said in his note is probably right.
There's still indecision for the team principals. Again, if it comes down to my choice, I want to race.
That was
DC
saying he wants to race.
Saying he wants to race. Well, that's interesting. They're going to leave it up to the drivers. The team principals say to the drivers, "It's your choice. We think it's not safe. Michelin thinks it's not safe. If you want to race, it's your decision." That's very potentially hazardous. What is going on? I can tell you again at home that up until about 10 seconds ago, Martin and James, our commentators on the track, did not know what was going to happen either. Just to keep you in the picture there.
If you followed our RPM program yesterday afternoon, I've got to get that squared away in my head. You may recall that we did a story on tyres, which was timely for this weekend. And on a Formula One car, there are infrared sensors, and that's the pit lane entry.
Our plan is for the start. Straight in the pits, please, mate.
Well, there you go. So that's Alonso in, and obviously a series of other cars coming in as well. Toyota in, McLaren in, Renault in, BAR in. Well, two Ferraris will front up to the line, 2 Minardis and 2 Jordans. This is a disgrace for Formula One.
Well, will it be 2 Jordans? I saw a huge amount of smoke coming from the back of one of them.
Unbelievable that this group could get themselves into this position. And obviously, there'll be serious ramifications resulting from this, not least of which there'll be a couple of 100,000 people that are pretty filthy. Let's go to Martin and James. They may be able to shed some light.
Who knows what's going to happen in the US Grand Prix? It's the strangest race ever, and it gets underway now. Predictably, Michael Schumacher leads away from Rubens Barrichello, but 2 Jordans, they're going to make a bit of a battle with the Minardi. Looks like we might be losing a Jordan already. I saw smoke earlier, I mentioned it, off the formation lap. The 2 Minardis there battling with the Jordans as well. And what is the reaction of the crowd? Well, it's stunned silence.
I don't know what it says about the 6 teams that have elected to run, to be honest. Maybe they're contractually bound, but you know, they should have joined up and found the solution too. I think they're probably just as guilty here of doing the wrong things as the guys in the pits in many respects, because they failed to help a solution be found. We're watching a 6-car race. Thankfully, none of them ran into each other in the first turn.
For the record, Michael Schumacher is leading, Rubens Barrichello is second. That's Thiago Monteiro ahead of Christian Albers. Narain Karthikeyan is 5th, and Patrick Friesacher is 6th, and on for 3 World Championship points here this afternoon. I guess of some interest is who's going to get the final podium slot, because clearly if the 2 Ferraris are reliable up the front, they're likely to finish 1 and 2. It's 73 laps. It's going to take an awful long time here. But who's going to end up the final podium slot? There's a perverse interest in that.
Yeah, there is actually, isn't there? I know some teams put money on Karthikeyan yesterday and 1 or 2 others for podiums before all this blew up. So that'll be interesting to see how that one works out down at the bookies. So we've got a 4-car scrap for that 3rd place. Barrichello and Schumacher, 0.7 second. Louise's fan, David Coulthard.
Well, David, normally if you're talking to me this early in a race, it's because you've had some kind of technical problem. Obviously, very, very different situation today.
Yeah, you know, I have a really horrible feeling in my stomach. I've never experienced anything like this in my career before, and it's quite remarkable that in the interests of the sport that we couldn't find a resolution that would allow us to go racing. And I understand that it's not the fault of Bridgestone, it's a technical fault with Michelin, they have to pay some penalty. But, you know, you have your viewers, we have the crowd here, we've all come here to not race. Is, you know, this is going to leave a long-lasting bitter taste in people's mouths, and as a driver, quite frankly, I'm embarrassed to be part of this situation, but we've been acting under instruction on the grounds of safety from Michelin, and there was no choice left open to us. Explain
to us, there was talk that a chicane would be built and then you would all be happy to race. Why was that chicane not built?
I can't answer that. I believe there was a disagreement from Friday to accept that would be the case. And obviously Charlie made his position on behalf of the FIA quite clear that they didn't feel that they should have to alter the track. But I think this is a unique situation. I think it was one that on the grounds of safety they could have taken that stance. I know it's going to be one of these scenarios now of who should have done, who could have done. The reality is mature adults were not able to come to a resolution that would allow us to put on the show that everyone wants to see in Formula One. We wanted to go racing, and it's a very sad day for the sport, I have to say.
Thanks, David.
Well, it is a very, very sad day for the sport indeed. We have got a race underway, though. The crowd are booing and jeering Jacques Villeneuve. Many times a hero here in North America, winner of the 1995 Indianapolis 500 in front of 500,000 people here at the Brickyard. Certainly one of the high points of his career. This is definitely the low point. That's Jarno Trulli, the pole sitter. In dramatic fashion yesterday, snatched Toyota's first ever pole position in Formula One. It's all pretty academic now, though. Schumacher comes across the line to complete lap 3. He is a second ahead of Barrichello, 5 seconds ahead of Montero. Albers is still chasing after Montero, but it looks like Frisak is being dropped at the back there, so the race goes on.